I'm missing Japan very much. And I would always insist with Kiyo-san, my business partner, for everyone listening, to take me to Taizo-in Temple or one of the other temples. But your temple, where I like, is my favorite.
Thank you.
The gardens in the temples, almost every temple, there seems to be so much pride and joy about the gardens. Why are the gardens so important within the Buddhist culture or within Buddhism?
Yeah, so actually, in original Buddhism, garden has no meaning, right? In India. But it was introduced to China. So especially, of course, the Buddhism has been influenced by many other religions, Confucianism, or so mainly Taoism. And in Taoism, so their ideal place for training is deep in the mountain, foggy, mystical, quiet. So, but I'm afraid we cannot find that kind of a place in the central part of the cities, right? So in old days, the priests in the cities wanted to create something like that kind of the ideal place in the temple precincts. And also the garden or the maintaining the garden is one of the very important practices in Zen monasteries. So you had an image of the Zen seated meditation. It's quiet, still meditation, but we highly also cherish moving meditations. So every morning we clean the garden. Of course, we're cleaning the garden, but at the same time we are cleaning our mind. So the gardening or the maintaining is one of the most important activities in the monasteries. So before, so I think you wanted me to introduce Taizo-in briefly.
Yes, please. Sorry, I got so excited to see you. So please tell us a little bit about Taizo-in Temple, please.
So I can introduce you in 3 minutes, maybe?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So can I share the material?
Oh, I would love to, yes.
Yes. So I think for me, it's forbidden. So would you please allow me to share the material?
Okay. Oh, I need Debbie to help me. I'm just going to give her a quick call to tell her to come up because I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So this is we're going to record this, but I'm calling Debbie now.
Right.
And so as you speak.
Yeah. Later I can
okay.
Temple, but so when she comes back.
My apologies. Yeah, I'm going to send her a text as you're talking. Yeah. So could you before we go on to some of the questions about the benefits of the mindfulness, and I definitely want you to share the beautiful material about Taizo-in Temple because it is my favorite temple in Kyoto. Kyoto is my favorite city in Japan. And perhaps this is what I have heard from other Japanese people's Japanese saying that, you know, Kyoto is it's almost like it's a spiritual center of Japan in some ways.
Yeah.
Is that true? You know, there seems to be more temples in Kyoto than anywhere else in Japan. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah. So of course, Kyoto is the old capital, and we have more than 2,000 temples and shrines in the cities. So in that sense, of course, Kyoto is a spiritual center. But of course, we have other beautiful spiritual places like Koya-san or other beautiful shrines in Ise or Izumo. So we have many spiritual places in Japan, but Kyoto is a very, can I say, we have lots of these things in the small areas. So in that sense, Kyoto is the spiritual center. And also we have a lot of, I say, not only Buddhist priests, but we have many, I say, philosophers in Kyoto. So, of course, the spiritually and academically, so Kyoto is a center of the kind of the culture.
Yeah. Yeah, that's excellent. Now Debbie is here. We want to share some
Material.
has material about the temple if we can share it, but we need to allow him to share it.
Oh.
Yeah. So how do we do this?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
No, you're right. So
I think we will need to make Matsuyama-san the host.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, cool.
Right. Okay, right.
Guys, this is absolutely amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Matsuyama-san, please.
Right. So I would like to show you the only 1 minute video of the temple. So please. So we're in the Myoshinji Temple complex, and we are the headquarters of the Rinzai Zen sectors in Japan. And we have around 3,400 branch temples all over Japan, and this is the headquarters. And in Myoshinji complex, we have 46 small temples, and Taizo-in is one of the 46, and we are located here. And we are founded in 1404, around 600 years ago. And so this is the central part of the complex. So I took these photos 2 weeks ago. So in Japan, we celebrate Obon festivals. It is kind of the spiritual weeks that we believe that the spirit of ancestors comes back to our world only in this time of the year. So we're decorating lanterns and ceremonies like this. And I was born in Taizo-in as an eldest son 42 years ago and raised as an heir to the temple. And I decided to go to the monastery at the age of 24 and trained there for 4 years. And now I'm appointed as a deputy head priest of the temple. Now I'm cleaning the garden like this, meditation. And this is the Buddha hall of the temple. And in the Buddha hall, we have the very beautiful treasure. This is national treasure ink and brush paintings. This is all these ink and brush paintings in Japan. And this garden is created around 500 years ago by the second generation of the Kano painting school. So this the theme of the garden is evergreen, so eternity. So the garden is covered all evergreen trees. So every time you come to this garden, the garden looks almost the same. So this is very beautiful garden. And this is new garden. And so as I said, I'm raking the garden. And so I will show you how to rake the garden. And this is the highlight of the garden. So we call this garden as Yokoen. And now we have beautiful water lilies and the lotus flowers. So this is a brief introduction of the temple.
I'm feeling really upset because I miss Japan so much now.
Right.
Sorry, thank you. I'm just getting over this emotional feeling. Now, I will tell you, my Kyo-san always tells me a funny story. I don't think it was your temple, but when her daughter was a very little girl, she came in and she saw the beautiful pattern in the pebbles and she ran in and messed it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get upset when children do that?
Of course.
So Matsuyama-san,
Yeah.
I can see, and if I could just ask you, the first question that comes to mind is that for many people around the world, like in Japan, Buddhism, meditation, it's a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
However, the way that it is often promoted in the West is not necessarily as a spiritual practice, but as a practice that leads to better health outcomes. Are we missing out on something if we just look at mindfulness and meditation practices purely as a health practice rather than a spiritual practice?
Of course, so meditation works for the mental health. So, so if our mental health is not so good, so we cannot seek for the spiritual, how can I say, the something, right? So these are not separated, but we regard it's one. But in the West, they're seeking for too much, how can I say, benefits or gains from the meditations. So, for example, so mindfulness is one of the 8 duties that the Buddhist should do, and the other 7's like the using the right words or right livelihoods, so something like that. And the balance is very important. But so some people are focusing just on the mindfulness to gain something. For example, they practice mindfulness to gain good performances, to gain big money, something like that. But it is, can I say, so in the Zen monasteries, we do not search for something like the gains, like the money or the position, something like that. But I always explain them that it is something like running. So running is very popular in Australia, I think, and in Japan also. And for example, in Kyoto, we can see many runners around Kamo River at the Imperial Palace. And many of them, their motivation is something like they want to lose their weight. They want to make body stronger and run faster. But I think this is a kind of that they're searching for some gains. But in the real Zen spirits, so we run just to run. Of course, by running, our weight may lose, our body gets stronger. But these are not the purposes. These are something extras. So the spiritually, the what can I say, the purpose or the goal of the meditation is to clarify the self. Yes. So this is a spiritual goals. But of course, also both are very important. But now, in many cases, they are only thinking the search for the practical gains or the benefits.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And that really does help me appreciate the true benefit, because we cannot really, because some Western promoters of, you know, especially the more academic ones, are starting to realize we cannot separate the spiritual component. And what you've just said highlights that it will actually come with the practice. But when we make it a practice where we want to look and gain for something, yeah, that's when we may get lost in our meditation. I was just, by the way, I was just speaking with somebody who, she is a friend of mine, and she has been doing meditation, Zen meditation in particular, for a while. She says that she does it through, her teacher was an American, and I think a Zen meditation became very popular in America. And she said that for the first year, she, I think almost her exact words were, she hated it. However, she realized that the problem was not with the meditation, it was not with the teacher, it was within herself. But it took her over a year to come to this realization. So my question is that a lot of people will go off and try meditation on their own. How important is it to have a teacher? How important to help you on your journey if you're going to do a meditation?
Yeah, so sometimes, so in Japanese phrase, there are Zen Tenma. So if you have too much meditations, it how can I say, hurt you, and mentally and physically. And from ancient times, so some trainees got that kind of the problems. And so guidance or the teachers are very important. And my master always said that, so if you drive good cars like Porsche, Lexus, Mercedes, so the body is beautiful and the inside is of course gorgeous and has good engines. But if you make mistakes by the direction, it's just for the tool of the violence, right? So the direction is very important. So for what direction we train, or for what purpose we train. So so that's why the good teacher or the guidance is very important.
This question is more specific about Zen meditation, and maybe I have totally misunderstood what I've learned or what people have said, and maybe this is, people have often said, but what I've read about Zen meditation, there seems to be so much more rules involved around the posture, around the breathing, compared to other meditation practices. Is that true? And are these rules so important?
Yeah. So one is the reason is that so we highly cherish the form, because for example, we, how can I say, practice meditation in lotus posture, right? Like this triangle posture. So the reason is that we believe that the center or the gravity or the power lies 4 fingernails from the very bottom. So we make meditation in that posture. It is the easiest way to concentrate our power to the very center of the powers. So we call this point as Kikai Tanden. So of course, it has meaning for the forms, but especially for the Western people are basically not so flexible, right? So sometimes it hurts very much and aches. So, so that's why. So there are varieties of the meditations, like, for example, 300 years ago in Japan, there is a very famous and the great master of Zen, whose name is Hakuin, and he trained too hard to get depression by the trainings, and he created new ways of the meditation, lying meditation, lying and with the breathing, and he recovers from the depressions. So we have many style of the meditation, but so it is not well known among other countries. So
Yes.
like as I said, so I'm raking the garden, right?
Mm.
So that is a kind of the moving meditations. So the breath and the posture, if even when we are moving, when if we have the right posture and the right breath, so it is the perfect meditation. So if you feel uncomfortable with the traditional, the lotus style of the meditation, so you can try other the style. I think you will find some comfortable styles of meditation.
Excellent, thank you. I had asked this question, I think, before of you when we were sitting out front of the beautiful garden behind you. And by the way, everybody, that is the real garden. That's not the photo of the garden behind you.
I'm sorry. So this is photos I took.
No, but behind you, that's the real garden behind you. When some people might say, but look, it's difficult to meditate. I cannot concentrate for too long. I'm too busy. What advice do you have to somebody who says that to you?
Of course, there are many the ways to, can I say, be mindful or concentrated or have the meditation, like as I said, moving meditation. So for example, so we have many, can I say, we say dos in Japan. Do means Chado, Kendo, Judo. So we have many martial arts. So it is a kind of the moving meditations. So if you like moving, so you can try these kind of the martial arts or other cultural activities. And so for example, so some years ago, a lady from Switzerland came to our temple and have meditation together. She's from the member of the International Olympic Committee. And after meditation, so I asked her, so you're working in a sports business, so can you recognize the difference between Western archery and Japanese archery? And she said no. And I say that of course tools are different, but the basically it's completely different. So the biggest difference is that in Japanese archeries, the goal is not to get the target. So in Western archeries, the goal is to get the target. So I have never tried the Western archery before, but I happen to get the target. It's okay, because goal is to get the target. But in Japanese archeries, if I happen to get the target, it's nothing. So in Japanese archeries, so we are using the bow and arrow and have the right form, right posture, and right breath. And then we try to elevate the state of mind to the highest. So the target, just a confirmation of the state of the mind. So the goal is not the target or get the points, but the goal is the state of the mind. So it's within ourselves. So this is the biggest difference. So in every Japanese cultures, so even the tea ceremonies, archeries, and the judo, so anything, the goal is not the targets and not to get the points, but to elevate the state of mind. So this is a first the way to the practice the meditation in the busy daily lives. And the other one is that I'm just creating the new ways of the meditation using the traditional line meditation. And I wanted you to help us in the near future. But of course, so from ancient times, 300 years ago, line meditation works very much for the mental health or the spiritual, I guess, things. But the people in the present day is very, very, can I say, busy, right? And especially for ladies. So every time I ask my wife or our staff, lady staff, that it's very good to have the meditation, but they always say that they're very beautiful, very, very busy. So they cannot practice meditation in the daily lives. So I asked them, so do you have any time in your daily life to spare 10 minutes, 15 minutes? And one of the lady staff replied me that, yes, we have. When we have the facial masks, we have we have nothing to do. And I think that is a point. So I am now creating the cooperating with the medical university that so by practicing the traditional line meditation with the face mask with aroma helps them for preventing for depressions or lower the stress. So I think that this kind of the mixture of the traditional meditation and how can I say, latest technologies makes something for the busy present, especially the people in the cities. So we have to apply the, how can I say, the traditional beautiful teachings in the modern busy daily lives. So that's why I'm trying to create the kind of the meditation now.
This is what I've always respected and valued about what you do. First of all, you're always able to explain things in a more modern context. I love the way that you explain traditional Buddhism within the modern context, but also you're looking for new ways of applying a very traditional practice into a modern way and actually being respectful of people's lives. And actually you found a way of doing this. That's incredible. That is amazing. Now, I've just got two more questions.
Yeah, please.
And maybe, no, I want to leave that question till last, but from what I understand and from what I've spoken with you, there are two types of traditional meditation. And the one is the more concentrating or not concentrating, the more what they refer to as the concentration style meditations. The focus is on the breath and so on. And then as you become a more experienced meditator, and in Zen Buddhism, for example, and if you can explain this, like the role of like a koan, and like exploring the meaning of it. So this is what the Westerners have referred to more as open monitoring style meditations. What is the difference from the way you see it between the two styles of meditation?
Right. So as you said, so we have two styles of the meditation. One is to vacate your mind, and the other one is to make your mind full of something. So we are using even in a traditional Zen monastery, we are using these two styles of meditation, and I think that both work. So to vacate your mind is, of course, it's very important, and especially in Zen teachings, there is a phrase, "muyo no yo." So in direct translation, it means need of the needless. For example, if I drink orange juice in front, and if I want to drink orange juice and open the refrigerator and try to pour the orange juice in the glass. But if the glass is already filled with water, so in that case, I pour the orange juice, but it will spill over and I can drink it. It's of course, but the vacancy, the emptiness is very important for the glasses. So this is the same. So if our mind is full of something, we cannot observe anything. So to vacate our mind is very important. So this is the first way. And second way is, I think it is something to do with the guidance. So to, so the guidance, meditation without guidance sometimes makes wrong mistakes or misleading. So in our Zen monasteries, we use a kind of like a koans. It is a kind of the guidance to the right direction. So we are using both styles of meditation in the monastery. So I think the both are essential, needed.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Just one last question.
Yes, please.
You started off by saying, like, yeah, I think COVID, I think we're all over the pandemic, but unfortunately, my feeling is if we look, and often we fail to look at history and how long pandemics last for, I've got a feeling that unfortunately we're going to be, most pandemics seem to have a 3-year cycle. And every pandemic, going right back to the bubonic plagues in Europe, caused not a lot of grief and sadness for so many people dying, but it disrupted the entire communities. It disrupted society. It led to so much upheaval, so much anxiety and stress. What guidance, what advice do you have for everybody who certainly must be feeling anxious, emotionally and spiritually exhausted by what is happening in their lives and in the world, and are so afraid at the moment, so afraid?
Yeah, so I have many friends who are suffering from depressions or so much stress. So it is the urgent and universal problems and in the world. And so for me, so a year and a half, 1.5 years ago, so the pandemic starts, and so all ceremonies canceled. Very few visitors to the temple. I had nothing to do. So, and I was a little bit shocked. So I was always busy. So suddenly I have nothing to do. But in Buddhist teachings, so in special terms, we call it the funi. So funi means we have to avoid dualism. So dualism means, for example, we tend to judge people. He's a good person. He's a bad person. But for example, within myself, I have a good aspect, and also I have a bad aspect, and it's always changing. So that's why in Buddhism, there's a teaching that we have to see things not in two, but we have to see things as one. And for example, when there's a light, there's a shade, right? But light and shade are inseparable, two sides of one coin. So if there's a shade, it means there's a light. So we are seeing things in this way. So this is a time of the pandemic. We're gonna see people, and we're gonna go to even the restaurants, and we're gonna travel. But within this our long history, more than 600 years, so we definitely need time for the maintenance. And within these 1.5 years, so we had the very big maintenance, like the maintenance of the pond, first time in 60 years. And I can show you, excuse me, sorry, right, this one. Can I show you this? Excuse me. So this garden is created around 500 years ago. And you can see the Y sound in the garden. And we call this sound as Shirakawazuna. So only in the around the river of Shirakawa in Kyoto, we can collect this sand. But because of the shortage of the sand, we cannot get the sand anymore. So of course we can search for this kind of the sand, we can find it. But actually the details are very different. So we're in trouble. So how can we maintain this garden from now? And then we had a pandemic. So, and we come up to the idea that so we cannot add the sand anymore from outside. So then we can dig the garden, and we can clean the white sand in the soil. And it took us for 2 weeks to dig everything and clean by hands. And actually the sand gets very white. And also, for example, I think it's very hard to recognize, but for example, this part, the level of the sand gets 15 centimeters lower, and we can find like this rocks, or so this rock, so we can find the original rock from under the sand. So thanks to the pandemic, we can, I can say, find the original the structure of the garden, first time in 500 years. So I think so if we search for something like this, so we can find something that we can do only this time of the this kind of a pandemic time. So the maintenance or self-cultivation is very important to welcome new 100 years, 200 years in the future. So that's why we're taking advantage of this pandemic time for the future. So everyone in the world are worries and depressions. But so that's why I'm creating new style of the meditation, even for the people in the cities, and reflect themselves and find a way to, to take advantage of this pandemic time for the future.
Thank you. Now, I know that I'm going to get a lot of questions. Sal, I know when the world will open up once again and we can travel, I will be maybe the second flight to Japan, not the first flight. I'm worried if the plane, but I will be, but I know so many of my friends and students that are listening are going to go, Sal-san, will you invite us to Kyoto? Will you invite us to Japan? And we want to do workshops and special events with Matsuyama-san and beautiful Taizo-in Temple. Will you organize something for us? If I bring people to Japan, I think so many people in Australia and around the world would love such an event.
Of course, I'd love to, and more than welcome to accommodate you to the Taizo-in Temple in the near future.
Thank you so much. Is there any, thank you so much for that. Is there any last words of advice, wisdom that you would like to impart to everybody?
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening the conversation with Salvatore-san. And actually, we are using perfect potions in our families. So the aroma flavor is very, very important part of the beautiful life. And if I complete to create a new style of meditation, I would love you to try meditation with the beautiful aromas in your house, at home. And as I said, I'm very much looking forward to welcoming you to our temple in the near future. So please stay safe and take care of yourself, and looking forward to you to seeing you in Taizo-in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matsuyama-san. Thank you so much.